Ever walked past a business and a beautifully crafted sign caught your eye? That's what we create at Eminent Signs Graphics Inc. Whether you're starting fresh or revamping your brand, our expert team designs, fabricates, and installs signs that truly embody your business's spirit. From channel letters to monument signs, we handle it all. Ready to stand out? Visit us today at 1888 Freeman Avenue in Signal Hill, California, and see the magic for yourself.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Presentation.
It's a beautiful day here in the Sim, and it's a great day to be in California. It's week number 3 of the ASRL Sports Car Championship presented by Purple Haze Autosport, and we're here at the home track of my partner, Mr. James Watson, just hovering right around 2.5 miles, 12 turns under the sunshine here in Cali. Welcome in to our coverage. My name is Tommy Cook, And James, not in his usual role here tonight, as James Watson is, since it's the home track, it's in his contract, he is the in-race reporter here this evening, partner. You're out on track getting ready to go.
Yes, sir. Trying to do the absolute best I can to provide good content without providing good content to the admin post-race review. It remains to be seen on how that endeavor unfolds.
Well, speaking of the admin review, why don't we take a look at the point standings. I know you're a little bit occupied right now, so we'll be happy to take care of that for you. But after last week's debacle, very full race report at Circuit of the Americas. Scott Kimbrough leads the gold. J.J. Wang with that big win, 8 into that lead just a bit. Kimbrough, Wang, Josh Hege, Christopher Hill is up a few spots to 4th, and Damian Dania had a couple of nice races. Damian is in 5th. In the silvers, Matt Johnston did not fare very well in the feature, but it doesn't matter. He's still holding on to the points advantage right now. Andre Saba, with his first career ASRL Sports Car Championship victory last week, climbed up to 2nd. Rene Garcia, Brian Deese, and Anthony Wayland. The rest of the top 5. Wayland was the fastest silver driver in practice. We'll let James finish up his qualifying run here. In the meantime, why don't we get Brody Gunter's thoughts on the track here and the NASCAR carousel layout of Sonoma.
Today, we are once again here in California, this time at Sears Point Raceway in the ASRL Chevrolet Corvette. For starters, you're going to climb the huge hill of Turn 1, as you then get hard in the brakes for Turn 2, a blind apex turn, where you'll lose a bunch of grip on exit to reach the top. This takes you into the high-speed chicane of 3 and 3A. High speed the first half, slow speed the second as you reach the top of the hill, losing a lot of grip on exits, going back down the hill, breaking off from the NASCAR short layout into the NASCAR long. Then have a flat out turn here that leads you up the hill, climbing to the carousel. As you hit the top of the hill, you brake. As you then spiral down the corner, it's getting as close to this curve as possible, and then carrying it out to this other curve on the drag strip. This leads into a very prime opportunity to pass. You hit the hard braking zone with a hairpin coming up ahead. It's a very unique hairpin. Being double apex, you can carry a lot of momentum here. As you exit out, you then hit the flat and high speed S's. You will not use any brake here, and will barely lift off the throttle, coasting the car through, trying to use as much track as you can, but trying to avoid getting those pesky off tracks. As you then find another long straightaway, this one being much harder to make overtakes, but it's very key as it leads into a very high speed turn 10. Finally, here's the last hairpin, a very hard braking zone, as you try and get as close to these tires as possible before getting on the power and trying to minimize wheel spin, and then carry it out of the corner, back to the wall, back to the straightaway, and that's just one lap, round 2 at Sears Point Raceway.
There are a couple things that Brody hit on that we'll get to in a second, but we're kickpot cam here with our main man, Mr. James Watson, through the final turn, coming to put lap number 2 up on the board.
That's
Lap
annoying.
2, a little bit quicker. So that's the lowdown on the track here. You know this facility, I'm sure, like the back of your hand at this point. Do you agree with Gunter's assessment that it'll basically come down to how you manage your off-throttle time here and how you manage lateral loading, because there is plenty of that?
Yeah, there's a lot of high-speed corners that you have to be wary about. You know, the carousel, you're carrying a lot of speed through there, especially on the exit. And if you're just a little too early on throttle, and if you don't quite get your entry right, you're just going to be pushing all the way out to the exit curbing and probably mucking up all the dead grass on the exit there. So you really got to be careful. There's a lot of problem areas on this circuit. That's what makes this place so enthralling, as you can see the little bit of an off track right there. You know, so many blind corners and a lot of high speed corners. So it's just feels like a guessing game at times where you're supposed to turn in and when you need to hit the throttle. And those who can put it together the best and just figure out those little timing marks on when you need to turn in will be the ones taking home the checkered.
So this is the layout that NASCAR ran for a couple years before the pandemic. They've since gone back to running the I don't want to call it the normal layout, because I feel like this one with the roundabout and the carousel gets used just as much as the NASCAR layout. But you mentioned dead grass. There's certainly plenty of that around Sonoma. I wish they would scan this track in the spring or make it an alternate version. There'd be a little bit of life surrounding the turns here. But certainly is an iconic look. It's an iconic track. It is a demanding track. It takes all of the most difficult elements of COTA in terms of the undulation and some funky turning angles, and Long Beach from a couple weeks ago, the narrowness and the danger. And that's how we're wrapping all of this up with a bow for the Michael Deese birthday bash. Hello to everybody that's hanging out with us. Bailey Marie Matichek, Robin Matichek, hello to you both. Hello to Don Golden. And hello to Mr. Mullet Music Man himself, Joshua Rutherford. Appreciate anybody that's hanging out with us here as we are just about 2.5 minutes away from getting going. We had, I want to say, 11 protests last week at Circuit of the Americas. Not the finest showing, I will say, from the drivers of the ASRL Sports Car Championship. Here's hoping that we could put a better foot forward here tonight. I know there are quite a few drivers through the first 4 races, the first 2 weeks of the season, that maybe are a little bit frustrated with how things are played out. But there are quite a few other drivers who are just frustrated in general with the way things have gone. And lots of rights looking to be wronged here this evening.
Yeah, we definitely saw a lot of incidents last week that made us kind of grimace, and as we were watching them unfold. So hopefully it's a much better showing for everyone, much cleaner race, a race that everyone can kind of get out of the car and be proud of. That's not likely to happen tonight, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's inspires a lot of confidence. The guy whose home track this is saying we might be in for a bit of a tough night, but certainly that is always possible when we come to Sonoma. Only a handful of drivers out on track right now. Damien Dania from Curacao. It's a Dutch island somewhere. I don't know where. The Dutch have islands everywhere, even in the year of our Lord and Savior 2025. But
that rhymes. Tommy, you're a poet and you didn't even know it.
Wow. You know, I have no follow-up. But Damien is second quickest right now. Really had a great pace over the long run last week. Ended up with a top 5 finish. We'll look for much of the same here tonight for driver 98. Top silver driver on the starting grid looks to be your current silver points leader, Matt Johnston, in 9th. And with nobody else putting up times out on the track, that is the way that it's going to be. So we'll get ready for our first of 2 races here tonight, the 20-minute dash. As time expires on qualifying, it is just about that time to go racing here for the Michael Deese birthday bash. It's not Sonoma. It's Sears Point tonight, canonically, for the ASRL Sports Car Championship presented by Purple Haze Autosport. Scott Kimbrough, we owe him a couple of interviews. We'll see if he could take the win here in the opening tonight. He will start on the front row on the pole next to Damian Dania. Christopher Hill, 2 times a winner already this season, will start in third next to Mike Pepper. How about that qualifying run? P4 for the 63. Dave Seeds needs a bounce back. He'll start in fifth. Bacon Zelenka, very fast at Long Beach, missed last week, starts in P6. Bertie Gunter, Josh Heggie, both need good nights. Gunter especially, starting 7th. Matthew Johnston, your top silver, starting 9th. Matt Schlosser to his outside in 10th. JJ Wang, Mike Hamlin, row 6. Joshua Matichek, silver driver, number 2 on row 7, with Johnny Alford to his outside. Rene Garcia has won here before in a GT4 with the ASRL. He starts 15th. Kevin Burrows back in the lineup tonight, starting in 16th. Rest of the starting grid all the way down to Christian Jackson in P35. There are a lot of familiar names. Nick Batista, runner-up last week in the feature for the Silvers, starting back there in 25th. We'll pop up the weather conditions here briefly as it is just about that time to go. 114-degree track temperature, and it's only 76 degrees ambient. It's a hot one. Who needs grip here at Sonoma? Am I right?
It's overrated.
Apparently.
Grip is fleeting, walls are forever.
Here's a look from on high as these drivers are strapping in. Just about 30 seconds left to go until the lights are going to go out here at Sonoma. Everybody except for Christian Jasper on the starting grid. Joshua Rutherford says he doesn't need grip. We'll see who is going to stand with him here as we are off and running. Through the 2 left-hand kinks, up the hill, into turn number 2 we go. 3 wide, close to the front.
I don't feel safe. I think we already got an instant behind.
It certainly is possible. Nobody tumbling through the running order yet, but there is lots of argy-bargy up towards the front.
What a send.
A few drivers off the track further back in the silver division. Back to the front, though. Scott Kimbrough leading in the infield section. Damian Dania there in second. Johnston right now with the silver lead, 11th overall. Here's the double apex right-hander that Bertie Gunter was talking about, getting you back onto the regularly scheduled NASCAR course. Headed down the hill into the winding S section.
One of the most amazing sections of cornering in all of World Motorsport.
Certainly.
Only completely biased.
I mean, if you nail it, there's no better feeling than
Exactly.
getting down the hill here.
Especially going over the S at crest over the hill. Chef's kiss.
Big lunge here to the inside in the Acura. That is Christopher Hill. He has retaken third from Mike Pepper. Pepper will fall back into line. Here's Matt Johnston and Joshua Matichek, although Matichek about a second back from his silver adversary. Johnston right now top billing for the division. Pretty clean start at the front of this field. JJ Wang in classic JJ style, able to pick up 3 spots on the opening lap. He's up into the top 10 and in 8th.
Yeah, JJ and his starts have been absolutely unrivaled this season. It's
Certainly.
wild how much ground he's been able to make up, especially the first quarter lunge around the world at Long Beach back in week 1. Oh, we got a car off in the carousel. That's never what you want to hear when you're going up the hill and you have no idea what's waiting for you at the bottom.
That was Mike Hamlin, I do believe. He's now wheel-to-wheel with Joshua Matichek. As Brian Deese behind is a little bit off the track there as well. We'll go back to Hamlin now, trying to get back into the middle of Matichek and Johnston and break up the battle for the top silver spot, and he'll do just that. Hamlin back to 11th, Johnston now into the top 10 and 10th. As, oh no, that is our in-race reporter around in the S's, and this is going to be a difficult place to merge, and never mind, no more merging needed. That was Gabe Ogden making contact there. What happened?
Someone wanted to go side by side through the S's when that's not a great spot to do it, and I was the unfortunate soul.
That looks like either Alex Halland or Jarrell Williams.
It's Jarrell. Yeah, like just kind of, like, I don't know if it was netcode, but it just kind of kicked the car out, and then Gabe just happened to spin right in front of me.
Certainly looked to be a little something funky there. Certainly not the position you want to be in, hung on the right side of the short side of the right-hander there. "16 minutes to go. Kimbrough with a 1-second lead. Damian Dania here, getting reeled in pretty swiftly by Christopher Hill. So we'll take a peek back to Joshua Matichek going back at it here on Mike Hamlin, or at least trying to. But now it is Johnny Alford making the move on Matichek in the double apex right. Back down the hill we go. There's the long shot all the way up. So 11th on back, pretty tight together. JJ Wang and Josh Heggie close to one another. Wang in the black and gold Acura. Heggie there in the red Ferrari. As Heggie up the hill was looking for a move. A little bit unsteady under braking. As we'll go up the track just a bit. Up the running order. Dave Seats applying the pressure here to Mike Pepper. Pepper off to a strong start here. Running in fourth. Ran pretty well in the feature at COTA last week as well, before getting a little Monster Jam hang time over the big monster sausage curbs. But still managed to bring it home for a top 10.
Yeah, it was a great run for him, especially since I don't know if Long Beach really went all that well for him, so it was a real good bounce back effort. So we see the battle between these two really starting to heat up right now.
Hill applying the pressure, and they have lost touch with Scott Kimbrough. That was Kimbrough that just left the left side of your frame. He is 2.5 seconds up the road, and Hill making a move here in this flat right-hander contact, and Hill is going to hit the barrier.
Oh, man.
Hard contact there. That is a tricky spot to try and go side by side. Now he is limping this fatally wounded car back to pit road. And that is going to do it for a podium run for the Dash, but a reminder that the top, I guess it's the whole field in the ASRL, is inverted entirely. So this may set up Hill for a good feature run, but certainly was hoping for a good Dash run instead.
Yeah, obviously him being the same thing that happened last week too. You know, it wasn't a great showing in the feature and in the sprint, and so he just kind of had to take that good grid position and just kind of pull away with it back at Long Beach, but that just hurt his points so much, and now he's basically going to be dealing with the same thing here.
So Hill makes the move out to the right. He's got the pace. He had reeled in Dania quite nicely, but caught that curb there on the right side, and that pushed him over to the left side, fed him right into the right rear of Dania. Damian did make some contact with the tire barriers there.
Yeah, and it's a good thing they didn't have anyone closer, otherwise that could have potentially been a massive accident, because as you see, there's no real runoff to use when you crash right around there, so we might have gotten ourselves a track blocker here if they had a few more cars closer, but thankfully we didn't, and we're still racing here. And Chris doesn't look like he's, he lost a major ton of track position, but he's not quite towards the back of this field yet, so might be able to salvage a little bit of points here in the sprint.
Yeah, 28th overall. That'll get him into the top 10 for the invert. As that rang the dinner bell for everybody behind Damian Dania here. Dave Seitz, Bacon Zelenka, Brody Gunter, Mike Pepper, Josh Heggie, and J.J. Wang all are closing in. That is 2nd through 8th that are all within drafting range here. And 5.5 seconds up the road. We'll give him some TV time because this may be the last time we see him. This is Scott Kimbrough, your race leader. Checked out. Silver leader right now is Matthew Johnston still. Looking for his 2nd victory of the season, the current points leader in the division. Next silver up is Joshua Matichek. He is about a second, maybe 2.5 behind Matt Johnston here. And Rene Garcia 3rd in class right now for the silvers. That is 14th overall for him, 11th overall for Matichek, and 9th overall for Matt Johnston. Going back up front to Damian Dania here. A lot of drivers within half a second of one another, but nobody battling outright for position at the moment. But that could change in a hurry, as we've already seen. Oh, and Scott Kimbrough just lost a ton of time, and he has lost the front end of that car.
Oh my goodness.
Kimbrough is in serious trouble, and all of a sudden, Damian Dania is going to find his way to the point as Kimbrough is going to pull off.
Wow, that is huge.
I don't even see an incident here. What has happened to Scott Kimbrough?
See Christian Jackson off in 7A. That's our
the
first
only
incident.
thing that's been noted.
Hey, don't
here.
show me. I haven't messed up yet.
So here's Kimbrough.
I'm just vibing.
And I think this would have already had to have happened. We got to back this up more now. Did he catch one of the tires? Oh, he did. He caught one of the tires there on the right side, and that ripped the whole front assembly of this car off.
Wow, that is jaw-dropping.
All right, well, now all of a sudden this conga line from 2nd to 8th has moved up from 1st to 7th. Dania leading Seats, Zelenka, Gunter, Pepper, Heggie, Wang. They're all right here.
And, you know, it was one of those internal commentators' curses, because I was just thinking on Scott Kimbrough's great performance, and honestly, the great performance of his entire team. You know, the Empire guys are new to the league this season. They just joined, and already all of them have shown incredible pace. You know, Anthony Whalen is one of the top silver competitors, and you see both Scott's on the Empire team battling for the win and the points lead. And then, yeah, just a crazy unforced error right there. But you see, it's so easy to do that, you know. You see it a few times in real life here when NASCAR is here and they bump the little tire bundles on the inside. Difference is, in real life NASCAR, the tire bundles move. On the sim, they don't.
No. We had an incident with Corey Rutherford, and I'll show that here if we get a little bit more separation up front. Right now, Josh Heggie applying the pressure to Mike Pepper. And into the big braking zone. Dania now I don't know about a comfortable, but he's got about a half a second lead. Seats, Zelenka, and Gunter all tripping all over each other here.
Yeah, and this is gonna highlight the issues that comes when you're trying to make a pass. You know, because you see a couple of the cars have kind of started to catch them up a little bit, but you just can't really put together a good enough run. You know, you got to string together a lot of good corners here. There isn't a lot of passing opportunities that really jump off the page here. You know, going into turn 11, of course, hairpin, it's a great passing opportunity, but you have to make sure that you nail the S's in turn 10 specifically to be able to send that move up on the inside. You know, the hairpin at the end of the drag strip is a great opportunity, but you have to make sure you nail the carousel and carry as much speed as you can. So the few passing opportunities you have are preceded by difficult stretches of corners that you can't make a mistake. And so basically, as long as Damien just keeps his wits about him, keeps the car on the track, and doesn't make any critical error, he should be able to cruise to the checker with this win. Commentator's curse again incoming.
Yes. Getting closer. Top three equidistant. 3/10 between them each.
And you know, make no mistakes is a rich comment to make at a track like this, because we saw it, like, again, go back at Kimbrough. Like, he had the race well under control, like 6 seconds ahead, just cuts the exit a little too close, hits the tire bundle, and rips the front face of his car off. So this is one of those tracks where you have to stay focused and stay on your game corner after corner, because any one of these corners can just absolutely end your day, and likely end it in a very brutal fashion.
If we don't show this now, we're never going to show it. This is what happened to Corey Rutherford, headed up the hill through the first couple of turns in the lap. And,
oh!
I mean, that's forgivable.
Yeah.
You get very light over coming up the hill, going from a quick left to a quick right.
And it's difficult because if you don't nail your lines, you're ending up having to take a braking zone while turning. And as all of you are aware, race cars don't like to brake while turning.
No.
They really like braking in a straight line. And they make it known to you that if you're braking while cornering, it's not going to go over well. So what I always try to do is, going up the left-hand portion of turn 1, I kind of get to the very edge of the track and kind of straighten up the car. I get onto the curbing at the apex and then do my braking, so then I can cut in, kind of take a late apex into turn 2, and then straight shot it off from there. The car is typically very happy doing that, as you see them make their way around the lap car. Christian Jackson. Christian doing a great job getting out of the way, this is a nightmare for lap cars. Like, I have been lapped here on a number of occasions, and it's terrifying because you have no place to go, and you're trying to get out of the way. You never want to be that lap car, but you know, sometimes you have to, just because you literally can't put your car anywhere else, and it's either do that, just make them wait a couple corners, or just throw your car off in the grass, which you know is never a reasonable thing to ask if you're a lead lap car. So you need so much patience and give and take from every car around the track, and that doesn't always go over well. So thankfully it went all right now, but we might not necessarily see that come the feature in the closing stages here later tonight.
Well, you talk about a daunting task here for Damien Dania. I mean, Bacon's Link has been fast, but historically, he's got 4 championships and 7 wins. 70 wins, riding behind him in second and fourth. 24 and 2 titles for Dave Seats, and 46 and 2 titles for Brody Gunter. And so far this lap, he has pulled away by a few tenths. Seats having to switch to defense for now on Zelenka. Imagine when they get back to the stripe, it'll be about 2 laps to go. Silver division has not changed, although we did just have an off track for Joshua Monacek, and he has lost quite a few positions, back to 17th. So he will give up the silver podium. It is still Matt Johnston leading for the silver division. Johnston, a little bit of separation now between he and, I believe, Rene Garcia, the next up in the silver class. Back in the 14th overall position, Johnston running in 8th.
Looks like Seats is trying to make a move. He sent it around the outside, almost got it done, but then he almost lost second to Bacon right there. All of a sudden, that little bit of gap that Damien eked out is gone, and here we are 2 laps to go, and he's got them right on his tailpipe once again.
Yeah, the lap didn't start great for Seats, but it sure finished well. He's within half a second now. Zelenka and Gunter going to throw down. Brody needs a good finish. I don't know if he has finished a race yet this season. Doesn't seem like it, that's for sure. I know he didn't finish any of the races last week at COTA.
And Dave Seats as well, our reigning GT3 champion.
Yes.
It's been a nightmare season for both guys. Both guys that are well-established, talented, and successful drivers in this league. Just trying to turn around the momentum, and getting this win would be huge for either of them, as Dave is really trying. He's looking outside once again. But great defensive driving from Damien right here once again.
Problems again for Christopher Hill. He has crashed. Seats fakes low, looks high. He ascended deep here.
He sure did.
But still about even keel to the white flag.
Yeah, he was able to take that momentum from that deep apex and kind of use it to his advantage right there.
Both of them overdriving the corner a bit has allowed Zelenka and Gunter to catch up. Clock strikes 0. Johnston well in control of the silver. It's his race to lose in the division. Dania is going to need half, maybe 3/4 of a lap of some stellar defense for one more go-around. Very good down the hill into the right-hand turn into the carousel section. This is where he'll put on the gap. Seats will close it through the S's. Unless Benkin Zelenka has something to say about it.
Yeah, that was a dream first half of the lap for Damien right there.
Seats closing again. What is he going to do for a win? Dania closes the inside. Seats tighter this time around the outside, but it is Damian Dania out of the final 2 turns to see the checkered flag for the first time in the ASRL Sports Car Championship presented by Purple Haze Autosport. Dania with the win. Well done. That was a daunting task, to say the least. Seats and Zelenka on the podium. Gunter will finish in 4th. And Matt Johnston's 2nd win of the season with the ASRL Sports Car Championship in the silver division. Well done to him. It will be Rene Garcia in 2nd and Anthony Whalen 3rd on the silver podium.
Yeah, that's a huge win for Damien. I've seen him around the Discord, and he hasn't quite been that satisfied with how his first couple races have gone. You know, he pretty hard on himself. So this is a big win to kind of get that confidence up. And always huge to break through early when you're a rookie driver in a brand new series.
Certainly is, as the final couple cars are crossing the start-finish line here. We will take our mid-race break and be back with the winners of our 20-minute dash, back with Matt Johnston and with Damian Dania here in just a moment.
Ever walk past a business and a beautifully crafted sign caught your eye? That's what we create at Eminent Signs Graphics Inc. Whether you're starting fresh or revamping your brand, our expert team designs, fabricates, and installs signs that truly embody your business's spirit. From channel letters to monument signs, we handle it all. Ready to stand out? Visit us today at 1888 Freeman Avenue in Signal Hill, California, and see the magic for yourself.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Turn 200's coverage of the ASRL Sports Car Championship presented by Purple Haze Autosport is presented by Purple Haze Autosport, Eminent Signs and Graphics, Team Watson Racing Setups, CJR Graphics, Mullet Music Productions, and the American Sim Racing League. We are back, and we've got our silver winner waiting to go here in Victory Lane.
Hey, yes, sir. Matt Johnson James Lawson up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Alrighty. Well, that was a heck of a drive by you. Cool, clean, and, completely out of any chaos. So take us through your sprint there.
Yeah, so first thing is just after the chaos that was last week at COTA, I just wanted to qualify well, stay out of trouble, and managed to do that. I got a really poor start off the line and lost the lead quickly to Monachek, but I regained it by turn 4 or 5, just in the 2x2 battling up the hill. I picked the right lanes and made forward progress. Once we kind of got settled, a gap formed about a second behind me, and I just tried to manage that throughout the race. It extended at times, and then towards the end there's a couple gold drivers that were reeling me in. They were battling really hard for their position to, I think, for 9th or 10th they were battling for. So that was kind of fun to watch in the mirror. But yeah, I just wanted to bring it home clean, get the extra bonus point for 0x, second race this season with a 0x. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, you're putting down some great points finishes here in the battle for the silver division. So just take us through what you're looking to accomplish here in the feature, trying to avoid all the inevitable chaos of this start with the invert.
I'm going to just try to go through the field carefully. I'm not in a rush. After the last couple of weeks, I know who to drive carefully around and who you can kind of lean on and race hard against. Any racing series, I think that's what you do. You just learn the people and you learn how to race them. So just having some notes in the back of my head, just like who am I coming up to? How are they going to race me? Some of these guys, they might see me in their mirror and just acquiesce pretty quickly, which I don't want them to. I always want to race everyone for every position, but sometimes, when you're coming up through the field, some folks just they're worried about their own race pace, and they want to maintain that instead of holding you up and losing some time.
All right. Well, awesome job tonight so far. Any sponsors, plugs, and shout-outs you want to give?
Shout out my team, Team Watson Racing. Yeah, it's a good group of people who, we know how to race and, keep cool heads and treat each other with respect, race each other with respect. It's a really cool community of people, so appreciative to race and run with those guys. My teammate, Bacon, he did a good job. I think he got a podium, so good on you, mate. Let's keep reeling in those points. Let's get this team championship for ourselves.
Alrighty, well, awesome job, and hopefully we're talking to you again here in about 40 minutes.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
Good stuff, and way to make the boss happy as well. We just had Damien up. We're going to hot swap him into booth 200
I was
here
just not
as a first-time race winner. How about it, partner? How about that?
To be honest, that's not who I wanted to win. That's for sure. I feel a little bit guilty about that incident. Yeah.
Which incident? You inherited the lead there, but talk me through what happened before that.
Well, I was trying to let Chris by. I told him on the radio, just past me. I was trying to back off into the corner, but he backed off more than I did. So I tried to just make the corner after that and sort of tap the rear end. And yeah, I feel really bad about that. Very, very sorry.
Well, certainly it's tight quarters around Sonoma here, but once that happened, and once you got to Scott Kimbrough with his problems in front of you, you're able to use the tight quarters to your advantage a little bit here, and to have to put on quite the defensive clinic as they were lined up behind you.
Yeah, to be honest, I was only paying attention to one car, and that was Dave. I think he put in a good run. He almost got me, so good job to him. So yeah, sorry, I'm a little bit. I'm not sure how to think because this is the first time for me, of course. This is
well, that's
very new. I've never done an interview.
That's very exciting, though, and you've had great pace all season. What's the plan going forward here, having to start it all the way at the back of the field now, knowing the chaos that may lie ahead of you?
Finish, to be honest. I don't care where. I just want to finish. I really don't care where.
Well, look.
Yeah, I feel
go
like
ahead.
I'm very concerned about turn 1. That's the only thing.
Definitely, it's going to be tricky out there. Sending you all the best, but let's get some folks you want to shout out. Anybody you want to say hi to here while we've got you in the booth? Have at it.
My mother, who's watching. My father, who's watching. The guys in the Bradley Garage Discord, who are also watching, and yeah, Brad himself, I guess. I don't really have many people to shout out, sorry. And of course Joshua, he put in a good race. This was his first time running around this track, so he put in a good job.
Well, best of luck to you, partner. Congrats on the first win, and we'll hope to talk to you again at the end of 40 minutes here.
Thank you very much, mate.
Very excited. Always a joy to have a first-time winner up here in Booth 200, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah, and I to be honest, I kind of forgot about the contact there with Christopher Hill. I think maybe I don't know if he's gone back and watched the replay or not. If he decided to let Christopher Hill through, that was one thing, but that's a very tricky spot for anybody to try and go through. And the contact there just kind of proved that point. But now you're going to be starting inside the top 10 from the invert here. What's the plan at the front of the field here?
I'm just going to try to get the best start I can, try to pick off as many positions as I can. I know for a fact I don't have the pace to kind of keep up with Scott, but if I can just kind of follow him through and just hang on to as good of a position as I can for as long as I can and not end up in the barriers again, that's all I'm really looking for. You know, I just want to have a good, proper finish like I usually don't when I race the series.
Shout out to Roy in the chat, cheering on Damien. Excited to see a first-time winner here on the channel, certainly. And both the Modicheks, Joshua, shouting out his teammate for Team Fastish, and certainly a little bit more than Fastish there. Modichek had good pace, just had one off-track there towards the end of the race that cost him a spot on the silver podium. So we'll see what he could do from the mid-pack here in about 15 seconds time when we get to take to the starting grid. And that is Dan Miglin going for the Chastain into pit road, which they will have to enter pit road, but I don't think Chastaining is going to do anybody any favors. So I'm glad somebody for scientific purposes gave it a shot at least. But
It make good content.
Certainly. We'll hope that Miglin keeps that to the warm-up period here. As Warm-up is over. It is time to get on to the starting grid for your 40-minute feature. And with the pole position in the feature, the full field invert belongs to Gabe Ogden. Jake Erickson, Scott Kimbrough starting in third is bad news. Nate Morrison, fourth. Christian Jackson and Ken Estep on row 3. James Watson there in seventh. Travis Fleming is outside. Aaron Bockover, Corey Rutherford, Dan Miglin, and Joshua Rutherford, your top 6 rows. So we'll cycle through the rest of the running order here, all the way down to P35, where you find Damian Dania. First-time race winner of the ASRL Sports Car Championship. Joshua Rutherford says it's hot in his sim rig. It is hot on the track as well, so at least the sim is being extra realistic to everybody. Certainly, it heated up today in the Midwest. Temperatures in the mid-80s, looking at 90 tomorrow, and potentially some tornadoes as well. So, gotta love that. Gridding is commenced. Boy, you're not going to see much from that angle. Here is Gabe Ogden and Jake Erickson. Green lights are on. We're racing. Up the hill they go.
Oh, I think we're already having wrecking.
Already problems. Anthony Wayland is around.
Oh, that's big silver championship implications right there.
Certainly is. Looking at it from on high. And there's another one around. That was Mike Pepper. Bacon Zelenka involved in that one as well.
Oh, man.
Big time problems. And again, we usually wait a couple of laps here before we get onto the replay train. JJ Wang's first lap luck is over. He has crashed. But Scott Kimbrough is on point, not a surprise. Ogden and now James Watson to the inside of Gabe here in the double apex right. Headed down the hill, Watson up to second, leading the silvers.
Ew.
Yeah. Christopher Hill challenging Jake Erickson for 5th. Pretty good, sir, with a big off track there. Matt Johnston will get through on him. Kimbrough leading. The final 2 turns. Watson leading the silvers with Ogden and Minklin behind him in class. Christopher Hill is the next gold up in P5. Lots of shuffling here.
So far, though, a pretty clean first lap, all things considered. Significantly cleaner than
Coda.
Yeah, we won't talk about all that. So already proud of everyone for getting through at a much more difficult to pass racetrack.
We do have a couple of things to look at. Mainly Mike Pepper and JJ Wang and Brody Gunter all had, I think, were involved in the same accident, just at different points. We'll take a look at that quickly. It's already in progress here. We'll back it up for just a second. Oh, and Mike Pepper gets nailed from, I mean,
oh my
coming
goodness,
from Oregon.
Wow, yeah, that is a Bacon Zelenka driving where the track is not. That what even caused that for Bacon to be on the grass to begin with?
No idea. I'm gonna have to back it up a little bit more, but we'll send it to Joshua Matacek and Jake Erickson right now. The silvers are all stacked up here. Of course, James in second, Dan Miglin running fourth, Gabe Ogden, Andre Saba, Jake Erickson, Joshua Matacek, Rick Thompson, Brian Deese, Joshua Rutherford, all right here together. We had a problem for Dave Seats as well that our cameras missed, although actually it just happened.
Uh-oh.
Seats goes around,
man,
and that is a tow.
Another nightmare night for Seats. Yeah, just when you think the momentum is finally starting to get back in his favor, once again, just an unfortunate run.
Oh, and this is a separate. He's crashed twice on the same lap here.
Oh.
So that looked to be an unforced error there for Seats that time. Brings it back onto the track. And we'll skip ahead in the lap now, and Seats driving with hot tires and maybe driving a little frustrated as well. In the back end steps out, and that is a big-time impact there into the
Yeah,
tires.
that car is toast.
Well, it's Team Watson driver on Team Watson owner violence here, as Hill is through on James Watson for second.
Did you see that? He mugged me. He just drove up and took it. It's almost as if he's a better driver. The nerve of that guy.
He'll get his.
When
Don't
when I get skill, he'll be sorry.
Well, the good news is you got a 3.3 second lead on Dan Miglin right now in class. And Hill has about 4.5 seconds up the road to Scott Kimbrough, who finds himself in a very similar position to the one he was just in the dash race, where he is well in control of the field.
Yeah, this is a good example of, what I like to call a business decision. When you're kind of I'll be a little nicer to myself and say mid-pack driver, you know that there's a few guys that you're just not going to be able to outrun, and so there's no sense in kind of keeping your car in front of them, forcing them to battle you, because they're going to pass you at some point. So just make it easy on all parties and just kind of let them go through so you can focus on your own race. So obviously, considering the logo shared on the car, you could think many things, but even if I didn't own that car, I would still let him by, because I know I'm not going to keep him behind me, so it just makes more sense for everyone to just do the smart thing here.
This was a big mess here. Rob Henry and company all off the track, and I'm struggling to even find how to piece this together, because it was an absolute mess. Nick Batista was the other driver that got the worst of that one. Johnny Alford as well, and now it's play mode is just glitching out, so we're not going to get a great look at that, unfortunately, but they're all back running. There's Dave Seats in the chat, and that makes a lot of sense. Picking up damage on the first lap. Certainly that car did not look to be all together there.
Oh, and obviously, yeah, we're well aware on how good of a driver Dave Seats is, so he's not likely to make an unforced error. So if something like that happens, it's because the car is just not doing what he needs it to do.
Whoa, that is a huge stack up there on the right-hand turn, and Gabe Ogden has lost 5, 6, 7, 8 positions there in one corner. Joshua Matichek is struggling for dear life to hang on to this car as he followed Gabe into the grass there.
A group of cars entering the carousel is called a nope.
And much like last week, there's plenty of nope to go around here. They are 3 wide. And big contact there.
Oh, my.
Thompson. Oh, boy, we are just absolutely throwing down there. Rene Garcia, Rick Thompson, Joshua Matichek. Big problems. They're all back going, but not without some cool loss there. I think everybody may be feeling the heat.
Feeling the heat in the warm California sun.
Certainly. Back up front, Scott Kimbrough's lead is shrinking a little bit. It's still at 4 seconds, though, Christopher Hill. Nothing coming from behind for now. Watson and Miglin, the top 2 in the silver. Andre Saba rounds out the silver podium. Matt Schlosser right now rounding out the gold podium, so it's an even 3-3 split in the top 6 right now. Schlosser with his hands full from a challenge with Alex Howland in 7th. Joshua Matichek, first gold or silver driver rather, off the podium there in P8. Sure, Joshua, as he is off the track there. I was just about to say, I'm sure he was glad it calmed down around him, but now he's right back under fire, and Garcia is through for 8th. Christopher Hill under 4 seconds down.
Yeah, we might be treated to an absolute clash of the Titans here. Chris Hill versus Scott Kimbrough for the lead of this feature race.
Haven't really seen them go at it yet. They've had their successes, but they've enjoyed them separately. Well, you could see why Kimbrough got at the tires there. With the length of and width of some of these noses, it's hard to tell where your car actually is.
Yeah.
All right, I think we've collected ourselves a little bit. We are spread out a little bit more. Hard enough to race the racetrack here. Worse when you have to race other people.
Oh, yeah. This is a rhythm track where you're just focusing on the black stuff in front of you and not the different colored carbon fiber stuff around you. And, you know, speaking of the track, did you know that this layout that we're running is essentially the original layout from back in the day?
Interesting.
Yeah, the chute was only invented just a couple of decades ago. When NASCAR first started coming here, this was the layout that they ran. So when they briefly went back to running the carousel a couple years ago, it was basically kind of getting back to the roots a little bit on their initial trips here to wine country. And even funner fact, my father and his tow company worked the very first NASCAR race here back in 1989.
Nice.
You can even see his beautiful Richard Petty style tow truck parked on the broadcast, which ended up not being the greatest thing because he had another friend that he said he was originally going to take with him to the race, but then he told him that he wasn't going, and so his truck on the broadcast ratted him out.
Yeah, a little hooky.
So, yeah, so he got a very not pleased phone message when he got home, you know, back when answering machines were a thing way back when.
We are in Gilligan's Island right now. Mike Pepper and Corey
Oh,
Rutherford.
You can't park there, sirs.
No, certainly not. And I was just about to say, around the 25-minute mark last week at COTA is when we first started seeing pit stops. Now, this is every chance that this is for a drive-through penalty for Anthony Whalen and Kevin Burrows. But, I mean, when are we eyeing pit stops here? Do you want to go long? Do you want to go short?
Well, you gotta really stop and consider what you want to do tire-wise. If you think you want to take tires, the ideal strategy is to come in right at the halfway point, because the amount of fuel you'll need, if you come in like right at the pit window opens, then you won't be taking as much fuel, so that means your stop won't be as long, and taking tires will make you waste time. Same if you decide to run the tank dry and then come in. So if you come in right at the halfway point, that's kind of the ideal scenario, to take tires, take the fuel you need, and not really waste any time either way. So that might be what I end up doing, because the left sides are not happy. But I have no idea how this car is going to behave on two tires. Oh,
Rick
that's
Thompson.
not. Oh,
Dan
and there's
Egler.
another car.
No.
No.
They were just side by side. Dan has been on the slide here the last couple of laps. He's been getting ridden up by everybody, battling up the hill side by side with Rick Thompson there, and they both go for a spin. So we'll reset the divisions right now. Watson leading the silvers, Saba in second, Garcia in third. They are third, fifth, and seventh respectively. Monacek the next up off the silver podium. Scott Kimbrough's lead has continued to shrink little by little here. Christopher Hill is 3.5 seconds behind. And then Matt Schlosser is third on the gold podium, fourth overall.
Oh, and JJ Wang is officially retired from the race.
So rough go for JJ here in the feature. Brody Gunter just had an off track and lost some ground that he had been gaining. He's let Matt Johnston back through, running 13th now.
Yeah, he is not happy with someone. I can't quite make it out who he's talking to, but he is not a happy camper right now.
We'll take a dive here into the final 2 turns as Matt Johnston will bring it down pit road. This is the Michael Deese birthday bash. Brian Deese looking for a move here on Brody, but it's not going to stick. We'll give Brian a little bit of love here on the broadcast, however. Deese with Rick Thompson behind him. Thompson, of course, spinning in that corner last lap. So he's trying to get his bearings back. Looks like he's got it. And may not have a choice because he is firmly in the middle of a 4-car battle for position.
Got the battle for the last step on the overall podium heating up. Matt Slosser starting to run me down. Go away, Matt, otherwise I'll say mean things about you during the next special stage league race. It's important to not irritate the broadcaster.
That's all right.
We know how to be mean.
Schlosser could take it. They call him the silent assassin for a reason. Let's hope he saves the assassinations for somebody in front of you, however.
Exactly.
And certainly I'm agreeing with that from Dave Seats. Demonstration and chaos theory, I think, is the perfect way to put the full field invert. Now, fast repair number 1 says Joshua Rutherford as Brody Gunter, Brian Deese, both down pit road. Back to Joshua Matichek here in 8th, trying to fend off Mike Hamlin. Oh, problems for Nick Batista and Jake Erickson around in the final turn. Batista again on the worst end of that. Matt Johnson had to come to a complete stop to avoid that one. And can't tell if I blinked or if Matt Schlosser blinked. Either way, we're still here.
Yeah.
He's still here.
Yeah, I don't think I saw anything behind me, so I think he's okay.
Well, good. And, bad.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag. You'll get that on those big-time jobs.
Well, I'd say the pit window is officially open. Watson and Schlosser go right on by. Still 3.5 second lead for Kimbrough over Hill, so that is about held sturdy. A little bit more space through the mid-pack now as well. Still Hamlin and Matichek, the next 2 closest drivers, other than Watson and Schlosser.
That face when you set your fastest lap of the race and you still have someone breathing down your neck.
Back to Hamlin, looking for a move. Not going to find it into the carousel. Schlosser looking right. He's got it.
Yep, that is another one of those business decisions I mentioned earlier. I'm just vibing.
Problem for Aaron Bockover, but I cannot find him on the rundown. There he is. He is way up the hill in the carousel. Now is back down onto the tarmac. Mike Hamlin down pit road. So trying to undercut Monacek here. So that puts the silver drivers 4th, 5th, and 6th in the running order. Watson 5.5 seconds up the road from Andre Saba and Rene Garcia. Saba, last week's feature winner, did not get to talk to him. If he'll serve where he is right now, we'll have another opportunity to interview him at the end of the night. But Rene Garcia, who took home the first silver checkered flag of the season at Long Beach, and also has a victory here when ASRL ran the GT4s back at season number 3. He would love to get back into the booth. Also snuck in for a second in the dash last week in spectacular fashion at COTA. So it's been quite the season for Garcia already. Halfway home, 20 down and 20 to go. In the midst of the pit cycle here. Here's Damian Dania, your feature winner. First time we've gotten to see him, and he will make a pass on his teammate Joshua Matacek. And Matacek letting a lap car through as well. In Tuesday, Thursday mode.
Carryover from Venom.
Certainly. And, thinking ahead to tomorrow night when myself and Joshua will be in the booth for Lime Rock Park.
Oh, my.
That's going to be a gas. I cannot wait. 9:30 Eastern time for that one.
Yeah, much love to the Max V guys for running that. That's going to be fun.
That's the classic, too, so you get the jump.
Yes, the good version.
Yes.
The only acceptable version of Lime Rock.
F out of here with that chicane. We ain't about that. We're here for
Amen,
We're here
brother.
for the jump, brother.
Yeah.
Should say
chicanes
both
are for
chicanes.
chumps.
We don't go to the long one either. Straight through. All gas, no brakes. Know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Garcia's giving Saba all he can handle right now. He is trying to put his nose anywhere that he can down the hill.
All right, here we go. Here's the pit strategy.
Here's Watson.
Oh boy, I can't wait to see how this thing is going to handle on cold tires and 2 tires.
Fronts? Right?
No, left sides.
Ah.
I don't really know if this is going to be a good decision or not, so just let the record show I was leading before pit stops.
Look back to Christopher Hill, or I guess up to Christopher Hill. Still 3.5 seconds, almost exactly. They have not put any time on one another. So Scott Kimbrough is still the leader.
All right, Ultimate got check time.
We'll have a good old-fashioned gut check. Schlosser just had it off track as Corey Rutherford was in the middle of the speedway there. Goodness gracious, and now he is whipping it back in right in front of Rene Garcia. That was close.
Oh, man. Oh, boy, howdy. That was terrifying to watch. Can only imagine what it was like in the cockpit of that Garcia car.
Yeah. Rene will be pitting for a change of undies here in a couple laps.
Yep.
Right as I said that the gap had stabilized between the two, Kimbrough put almost a second on Christopher Hill last time around. Damian Dania working on Alex Hallen for 6th. He's 4th in class for now. Of course, we're in the middle of the pit cycle here. Rick Thompson is down pit road. Oh, Joshua Matichek nosed it into the barriers. And he is working to get this car back onto the track and will headed down the hill. Doesn't look too bad, so it must have just been a slight nudge there. Either way, that's not what you want.
Yeah, the entry of the kit. Ooh, yeah, just
tank swapper.
Snapped on him.
That is a fairly hard shot here.
Yeah.
Christopher Hill down pit road after losing a handful of seconds there in the last couple of laps. He says it's time to go. Damian Dania absolutely flying it on the pit road. So no damage there on the 98. Johnny Alford follows him in. Brady Gunter off into the grass to make the pass on Josh Heggie. That was very interesting.
Yeah, that made for some content. And JJ Wayne is actually back on track. He came back out.
Love that.
Right?
So
good old lizard perseverance.
Garcia through on Saba for the silver lead for now. Joshua Matichek is in. Christopher Hill, despite pitting, he is right behind Saba here. Making the move to get back to 4th overall, and he will. So Hill, not exactly a clean drop into traffic for him. He's had to do a lot of work here already. But if he can get through on Garcia, he'll have plenty of space to operate with until Kimbrough gets back out on track. And then we will see. Here's Hill on Garcia. That's complete. So Hill now 46 seconds behind Scott Kimbrough. He's got Matt Schlosser now in front of him. Of course, Schlosser and Kimbrough both need to make their pit stops to be good to the end.
Yeah, the pit sequence is going to be interesting here. Looks
crash.
like
Brady Gunter. Just into some slower traffic. That might have been Damian Dania, and it was.
Yeah, I think that was Damian.
So that's no fun. Ooh, Christian Jackson way off the track there. Re-entering the chute. Christopher Hill through on Travis Fleming. Rene Garcia down pit road. Alex Howland follows him.
Big implications for the silver race here.
Let's see where James Watson cycles out in comparison to Rene Garcia. Rene just now stopping at his box. It was about a 3.8 second lead when Watson came in. Garcia just now rolling out of the box. There goes Watson through. And Garcia just now getting to accelerate, so this lead is doubled back to Garcia for James Watson.
You'll love to see it.
You sure do. Scott Kimbrough in from the lead. Brody Guntz here to get some damage fixed in as well. So now we've seen what has happened to one lead. We'll see what happens now to the other. Matt Schlosser does not even have the opportunity to pit yet. We'll see if he follows Kimbrough in this time. And he will. So, inside of 11 minutes to go, only one real holdout left, Andre Saba. He may elect to pit this time as well. And he does. Kimbrough on pit exit right now. Christopher Hill, he is going to be still quite a few seconds behind. Gap was 4.5. It is now 5. Saba stopping for his service. And not even rolling yet. James Watson is the silver leader with 10 minutes to go.
Let's go.
Saba comes out almost 2 seconds behind Rene Garcia. So Garcia, by pitting one lap early, gets the jump. So silver podium right now, Watson in 4th, Garcia in 6th, Saba in 8th. And it is Kimbrough, Hill, and Schlosser, the top 3 overall, and fighting for the gold win. But 4 3/4 of a second, make it 4.5 now for Kimbrough over Hill. So dare I even say it, because I said it last race too, this is Kimbrough's to lose. I don't think it's so much Kimbrough's to lose as it is Sonoma's to take.
Right.
We'll put it that way.
Yeah, because like I mentioned earlier, what corner do you worry about? Because each and every one of them can catch you out.
Riding on board with your feature winner, he's the hard charger, Damian Dania. In 7th, challenging for 6th, that's Rene Garcia ahead. Next one up the road would be Mike Hamlin, which is for position in the division for Dania. Oh, problems again for Christian Jackson. They're into the penultimate corner. Dania to the inside of Garcia in the left-hander now. Will have to take the long way around on the right if he doesn't make contact with Garcia there. The 98 is up to 6th. With Mike Hamlin now in his crosshairs, a 2.5 up the road. Schlosser cutting an S in his pursuit of Christopher Hill. We'll say Hill is back inside of 4 seconds now. If he's got anything left, now is the time to use it. We'll go back to Joshua Matichek and Anthony Whalen battling in silver division. This is 16th overall. And not much of a battle at the moment. They do both have Bacon Zelenka closing in on him pretty quickly.
Yeah, Bacon trying to do the comeback trail after one of the weirder lap 1 incidents we've seen in recent memory.
Certainly. Dania 3/4 of a second behind Mike Hamlin, trying to track him down for 5th. Gap for the lead is just about where we left it, 3 3/4 of a second. Hill chipping away at Kimbrough. Could almost get them in the same camera frame. Not quite. Kimbrough with some more lap traffic to navigate through. Go back to Josh Heggie challenging Andre Saba for 8th. This is the silver bronze Saba, if that makes sense. And the silver Garcia right in front of both of them.
The platinum in this analogy?
Third base. Definitely I don't know on third.
Oh man, that means who's on first is back. I hate that guy.
Shouldn't have drafted him in my fantasy league. Heggie nearly laid a bumper in there on Saba, but could not complete the pass. And now this is Johnny Alford pulling up onto the scene. And Alford is going to take a look to the inside of a Heggie.
Yeah, this is getting spicy.
I mean, Alford is the late race charger. He was making great moves late at Coda, putting on a show. But
yeah, that's always been Alfred's MO. He always puts up runs where he just kind of sits and chills, and then out of nowhere he makes his presence known, and you're like, how did he finish there? I didn't see him the whole race.
We have not seen him since early in this one. But he's in 10th, challenging for 9th. Has a bit of a run here on Heggie, but not going to take it. Gap is now 3 seconds for the lead. Inside of 4 minutes to go. Time is running out if Christopher Hill is going to make a challenge for the win.
Yeah, I think Kimbrough might be taking it a bit easy, knowing that we don't have a whole lot of time left. No need to really push 10/10ths and risk what happened in the sprint happening again, where Chris is just absolutely driving to the limit, knowing it's either or do that or do nothing.
3-spot swing for Andre Saba from 9th down to 12th, and he's let Matt Johnston now onto the podium. So an outstanding race to follow up the win in the dash. Johnston, the points leader coming into tonight. Good stuff. Now he'll scrap away with Alex Howland here. Howland, gold driver. Johnston trying to get up to 10th, give himself a little bit of a buffer back to Saba. Dania now has caught Mike Hamlin, and he's brought Rene Garcia with him. 3-car log jam, about 4 seconds behind James Watson here with 2.5 minutes to go. Inside of 3 seconds now. Hill tracking down Kimbrough. It'll be 2 laps to go at the stripe, though. Might be the white flag. It's going to be awfully close. We'll see at the line. This is it. Last lap. So Hill is out of time. He needs a mistake from Kimbrough.
I don't think it's white flag because I have not gotten the white flag yet.
Well, we haven't hit zeros on the clock, but he crossed the stripe with a minute 29 to go, and the laps have been in the minute 31s. Either way, he'll not catching Kimbrough on this lap regardless of whether or not it'll be the final lap, so we'll see. Said it was going to be close. We may find out how close. Kimbrough out of the final corner with 5 seconds left on the clock. And it's double zeros at the stripe. And I think we've got one more. There was no time on the clock, though. So a buzzer beater for Kimbrough and a one last shot here for Christopher Hill. 2.5 seconds behind. Mike Hamlin pitting.
Wow.
That allows Damian Dania now to get up to 4th in class, 5th overall. He and Garcia going to go at it here on the final lap. So Hamlin must have had an off track and picked up some kind of penalty there. That is rather unfortunate, to say the least. Rather doing a lot of the heavy lifting on that one. Gap continues to close. It's 2.25 seconds, but we're 2 corners from victory. Scott Kimbrough, for the second time this season, will see the checkered flag here in the ASRL Sports Car Championship presented by Purple Haze Autosport. Kimbrough takes Sears point. Christopher Hill will finish in second, and we're headed down the S's. Matt Schlosser well clear of Damian Dania, who has allowed Rene Garcia to get through. Schlosser through the final turn will take the bronze medal here tonight. And it's our man with the street cred through the final turn. James Watson is going to take the silver win here at Sears Point at the home track.
In-race reporter takes the dub. Let's go. In one of the worst cars on the service, too.
It did not start well, but it finished very well. Watson with the win, his first with the ASRL Sports Car Championship. And the first time ever an in-race reporter has won on turn 200.
Yeah, how about that? Haha. Oh. Whew, I am out of breath and covered in sweat with that one. Oh, and I'm out of gas.
Oh. You know, we ragged on J.J. Wang for not doing a burnout so much last week, and it turns out he didn't have any fuel in the car. And now I get to do the same to you.
Yep, let's see here. Kind of.
That's already more than JJ did, so that's good.
Nope. I just don't have enough fuel to get the tires to break loose. I felt it a little bit, but then it would stumble.
Fun night here tonight at Sonoma. And, man, I really hope we get to talk to Scott Kimbrough here finally. We owe him now 4 interviews as we look to see if we are going to be able to pull up the results yet. Should be able to, as the final couple of drivers have crossed the stripe already. And here are the results here tonight. Scott Kimbrough with his second win of the ASRL Sports Car Championship. Christopher Hill will finish the second match. Schlosser rounds out the podium. And it's James Watson, highest finishing silver division winner of the season. He takes home his first win with the ASRL Sports Car Championship. Rene Garcia, a good comeback there. Cut it down to only a second and a half there by the end of that one. He will take home the silver, and he is on quite the roll to open up the season. We'll hope to talk to him here in just a moment as well. Damien Dania, your feature winner, sneaks back up to 6th there at the end of this one. Josh Hagee in 7th, Johnny Alford in 8th. Then Matt Johnston will round out your silver podium. He'll take the bronze 9th overall finish for Johnston. Alex Allen rounds out the top 10. Andre Saba in the 11th. Brian Deese in the Michael Deese birthday bash tonight will finish in 12th. 13th for Jarrell Williams, Rick Thompson, Mike Hamlin in the top 15. It is Bacon Zelenka who will finish in 16th. Anthony Wayland in 17th. Joshua Matichek 18th. Aaron Bonkover, Gabe Ogden, your top 20. 21st for Nick Batista, Dan Miglin in 22nd, Travis Fleming, Joshua Rutherford, Corey Rutherford, the top 25. Mike Pepper, 26th, JJ Wang in 27th, Kenny Step in 28th. And I think DNFs from here on out, potentially. Some wonky scoring stuff going on. Brady Gunter, 29th, Nate Morris, 30th, Christian Jackson, Jake Erickson, Kevin Burrows, Rob Henry, and Dave Seats, 35th in final finisher. So, we'll go in search of your silver runner-up to start. And he shouldn't be that hard to find. Got to kill the music here first. And we are going to hot swap Rene Garcia straight into booth 200. It's great to get to talk to Rene. He's been on a tear this season, but we haven't got to talk to him at all. But driver 74 back at the booth. How we doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Pretty good here tonight. One of us is doing much better than the other one, I would imagine. But good stuff here tonight. Yet another podium for you here this season, running in silver.
Yeah, it was a very good race. No complaints. I thought race 2 will go a little more chaotic, but it went smooth. And the car was hauling ass today. I needed just one more lap to get James, but he got it, man. Congrats, James.
James, what you got?
Yeah, you were on a tear those last few laps. Take us through that. You said one more lap. How much time loss did you have trying to get through traffic there? I know you and Andre were battling there a good chunk before the pit stops. And then you and Damien were battling hardcore. Do you think you might have been able to sneak by them just a bit earlier?
To be honest, I think Damien was faster than I was. I was surprised I was able to keep up with them, to be honest, but I ended up finding something there. The Mustang with Ken, that slowed us down a bit. I didn't expect Damien to slow down so much into that left-hander, but I just went through the middle, had no idea, and just took the position. But yeah, man, it was fun. The car was hooked. It was flying. I gave it my all, and I'll take 2 P2s. Why not?
Certainly.
Yeah. What was your pit strategy going on? What did you end up doing there? Did you take tires or did you just go fuel only?
I fuel only, just ran the car out of fuel and then came into pits, just took fuel. But I pushed the car, but I tried to take care of the tires as much as I could without losing positions because I knew it will pay off at the end. And it did. I saw where I had more grip than others. It was just hard to keep it together. I mean, these guys are gold class, they're fast, but yeah, man, I saw you up there. I was like, oh, I'm catching him, but one lap too short. But hey, man, it was fun. I'll take it. I really appreciate it. So, Team Watson for the win.
Heck yeah, buddy. You had me sweating there, that's for sure. But any sponsors, plugs, and shout-outs you want to give?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you guys for the broadcast. ASRL Turn 200, all the sponsors that come on board. It's really appreciated. Thanks to Team Watson Racing Setups, Eminent Signs Graphics, my family, all the fellows over at 420 Motorsports, and that's it. Just come back in 2 weeks to see what happens.
Absolutely. One win, 4 podiums on the season. You've been on a tear. Keep it up, partner. We'll look forward to talking to you hopefully again at Summit Point.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
We'll postpone your interview here for a second. Looks like Christopher Hill has already checked out for the night. But it's finally time. This is, I think, the 4th interview we now owe Scott Kimbrough, and we're finally going to get him one. It's good to finally get to talk to Driver 11 from the top step here tonight. Welcome to the booth, and congrats on the win.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Happy to be here. Thanks for the great broadcasts.
Well, thank you, partner. Thanks for racing, and I think it's suffice to say race 1 did not go the way that you were hoping. The good news, if there is any to come out of that, is that it saves you a lot of trouble coming back up through the field here in round number 2, and you were able to open up a can there.
Yeah, that's why I was in the old infield care center channel, because my pride was severely hurt from being pretty stupid in the first one. That's a result of thinking, okay, I just need to stay out of trouble. Let me take it easy and not drive the way I normally drive. And then I got into that hairpin like way too slow and way too to the inside, and I just barely grazed off of that thing. And as soon as I grazed it, the Jim came on and said, "You've got wheel damage." I'm like, what the heck? Yeah, it was all bad.
It was a little more gnarly than wheel damage. You had, I mean, most of the front end of that car was ripped off there. It was that tire barrier a little more static than it is in real life. But regardless, you're able to put it behind you pretty well there and get yourself through a little early chaos there in the first few turns here at the tight confines up the hill at Sonoma and put all the madness behind you.
Yeah, it's a fun track, but it was a little hot and slippery, and the Acura is not exactly to my liking with this fixed setup, but so like a couple places, like the carousel, the downhill carousel, if you try to attack that a little bit too much, the old Acura didn't like that too much.
James, what you got for the race winner?
Yeah, take us through the mindset you have starting everything from pole or near pole. You don't really have to worry about dealing with the mass chaos that is working your way up through the field. So is that calming and a lot easier to deal with? It just focusing on driving and hitting your marks rather than not hitting other cars?
I mean, generally, I would say yes. It's always more beneficial to kind of be up front and in less of the chaos. The way it happened for this race, in race 2, that's definitely not ideal. I'd rather win the first race, start in the back for the second one, and try to work my way through. It's really one of the things I really enjoy about this league is, standing starts, full field inverts, wide range of I ratings. Like, you got a lot of ingredients to brew a recipe of chaos. And so I'm, trying to use it to better my own racecraft and learn more things about what to do in different situations that are sometimes unpredictable. So, yeah, it's really good. So starting in the front's great. I wasn't expecting to see Chris like all the way through to second place. Like, I don't even know what lap it was, but I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna have to race a little harder than I wanted to.
Well, certainly he was inching his way close there, but you had a big buffer there at the end of the race and able to bring it home for the second time this season with the ASRL Sports Car Championship on the top step. A third win on the channel here as well. So congrats to all the successes previously and up until this point in this season. Glad we finally get to talk to you, and let's get some shout-outs going for you.
I appreciate it. Thanks. I mean, really, obviously I appreciate you guys and Corey and the ASRL team, because it's a lot of work to put on a league for people to be able to race and have a good time. So I appreciate that for sure. And all the competitors, it's fun to race with. Seems like a good group of guys. And definitely, just shout out to my own team, the Empire Racing guys, a group of friends that started sim racing, and we enjoy it and have fun together. So looking forward to some more races.
Second win of the season. Congrats. Go celebrate. Go party hard, and we'll hope to talk to you again in a couple weeks.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
And looks like we are going to get to talk to Christopher Hill after all. We'll finish in the runner-up spot. Was putting in good work there at the end to try and get up close to Scott, but we'll have to settle for P2 here tonight. But regardless, congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's a decent salvage of the night. I was a little bit of a bummer in the first race there because I didn't quite survive the the overtaking attempt there in turn 10. So yeah, it was a little bit of a bummer. I thought there was space, and then it wasn't there at the last second. But it is what it is. And then to get second after all. I mean, it's feels good, but at the same time, like, I think if we had been in a little bit better position, we might have been able to get to him because at least towards the end there, it seemed like we had some pace. But good job to Scott. Hoping to give him a little more of a threat for it next week and see if we can't close the points down a little more. So we'll see.
Yeah, certainly you and Scott in the same boat in the fact that you were a little bit closer to the front of the field in the second race than you wanted to be to start. Unlike Scott, you actually had to pass quite a few cars to get yourself up to second there. I mean, you did it quickly and efficiently, but still having to work through 11 cars to start this race while Scott was able to get away. I mean, that's got to be a little bit more work than you wanted to put in if you have to be in that position.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping to be a little closer up there, and like, had I don't know, I just in a heat race, it was like I knew I was going to have to start towards the front kind of a thing, but I felt like maybe I could get a few points if I pushed, and in hindsight, maybe if I had pushed a little less and let more silvers by or something, it would have been a benefit for me on the start of the feature there or something. But all things considered, happy to come away with a podium and be competitive and all that. Just a little bummed with how the night fully went. One of my favorite tracks. This is the first place I ever raced a car in real life, and it's got a special place in the heart there, from that standpoint. So I love it every time we get to go here, even though it's not the greatest for passing and racecraft kind of stuff. It's still one of my all-time favorite tracks. So happy with the second race there, and looking forward to Summit Point. It should be fun.
James, you got anything for your driver?
Yeah, take us through that incident there in the sprint with Damien. That was such an unfortunate incident for both parties there.
Yeah, it was a weird one. I had a run. He missed, kind of missed his apex or messed up his apex in 8A, and then we're going through 9 and had enough of a run to get some overlap. I didn't know if I was going to have enough position, but like he went wide on the entry, and I figured, okay, he's just going to kind of give some space there. And so I stayed on the curb, as long as I could to try to leave a car width on the exit. And when I watched the replay, it looks like, he kind of turned in late and sharp and kind of was straighter off the corner and actually was a little tighter than the traditional line would have been. And I wasn't able to see him until we intersected at the wrong point. And, my bad from one sense for not backing out of it sooner, but at the same time, I would say maybe wasn't the best way to yield the position if that's what he was trying to do. But it is what it is. It's I probably should have waited for another corner or two, especially seeing that he won the heat race. I was just desperate to try to get by and get up to Scott, and since I knew he had the pace to get away, and it didn't work out in my favor. So it is what it is. You make a mistake once in a while,
Well, certainly recovered for it quite nicely with the second place finish here tonight in the feature. Congrats, and great to get to talk to you again, and let's get some shout-outs before we let you go.
Well, first off, I want to congratulate James on his win. That's awesome. Super happy for you, bro. That's great, man. Of course, thanks to James and also the team at Team Watson Racing Setup Shop. All the help they give, and just a great group of guys, good setups, everything else. It's a great atmosphere, good team to be a part of. I don't think I'll ever not want to be a part of that group. And I mentioned precision racing instruction. It's do coaching in the real world and in the sim, and anybody looking for a little help on that, feel free to reach out, and I'll do my best to help you out. And also want to just give a shout out to my dad. He's unfortunately not doing so well these days, and I don't know that he'll be tuning in, but just want to send him my thoughts and kind of dedicate the podium to him. And yeah, got to appreciate everything he's done for me. So yeah, thanks to you guys, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Sounds like a plan, partner. We'll hopefully see you again in a couple weeks in Summit Point.
Yeah, sounds good. Have a good one.
And now, we'll save, I guess, the best for last. Up in Booth 200 is a race winner for the 11th time on Turn 200, but for the first time with the ASRL Sports Car Championship. It's our color commentator and race reporter, James Watson. How are we doing?
I'm doing pretty flipping good here.
Well, I mean, we were talking through you all throughout the night. First of all, the insanity of driving this track, which is this track, at 120 whatever degrees on the track surface, and also watching the window that I send you over Discord that feeds you the live broadcast. That's insane. But I mean, I guess, I mean, we heard your thoughts throughout the race on how things are going and the strategy and all that, but talk me through the post-race here and how everything went, I guess.
Yeah, it's really cool seeing all the well wishes from everyone because, you know, it's already difficult having to flap my gums and figure out intelligent things to flap my gums and say while sounding interesting and sounding like I know what I'm talking about, in addition to driving one of the most difficult tracks on the sim in one of the most difficult cars. You know, Matt Schlosser gave me congratulations in Discord saying congrats on getting that finish in the Ford Death Machine because this car is not easy to drive. A lot of people really do not like it. It's so old and outdated, and so just being able to finish the race is, you know, accomplishment in and of itself, let alone, you know, winning the class and finishing fourth overall. And like, this is the best ever race in a sports car by far, because anyone knows me knows that I do not like driving sports cars at all. GT3s especially. I am not built for this, and I don't typically enjoy it, but the resident GT4 GT nut job that is JJ Wang was like, come on James, I think you'll like it. I think it'll fit your driving style a lot better. And so I did some laps with it last week at Coda, and I'm like, you know, by George, I think he's right. So I decided to send it tonight with it, and you know, he's right. It does fit my driving style a lot more because it's a lot more lively, it's a lot more sketchy, and I always gravitate to cars that behave like that. It just kind of fit perfectly, and you couple that with my knowledge of this track and the probably like thousands upon thousands, probably getting close to like maybe million laps I've turned here in like all kinds of different games, whether it's Gran Turismo 4, iRacing, all the NASCAR games throughout the years. Like, I run this so often because, you know, it's home, it's the motherland. I've been here on these grounds many times in my life. I cut my teeth racing karts up in the kart track, heck, up one of the hills. You know, some of my best and worst moments of my life have been spent at this track, and that's why I always jump in to drive it as much as I can. And you know, getting a class win and getting such a good finish here, it just makes it that much more special. And it's really probably the only place it'll ever happen because of, you know, the experience and the fact that Sonoma just isn't used as often in a lot of other racing series. I probably wouldn't have done as well if this was a track that's a lot more common use, but it was basically, the perfect storm of things happening, and I'm just so grateful and blessed to be able to do this. This is just absolutely cool as heck. And to be in the booth commentating myself winning the race. Like, when does that happen? Like, when do you see that? That's like one of the coolest and craziest things too. And it's important because if I cause a lot of chaos and, wreck people, it looks really bad because it's like, why is he out there racing and commentating and just ruining people's races? So it's important for all of us, myself in Turn 200, looking professional and competent, not to have the color commentator hopping in the race and ruining the race for people. So to not only show that I'm competent, but actually, come out and get a win while doing that, it's just absolutely cool as heck.
Well, certainly, Matt and myself have both been in-race reporters. You were also an in-race reporter a couple of times with the Special Stage Pro Truck Series. Bristol went okay. Unfortunately, the jumpy truck race here at Sonoma did not go quite to plan, but you've certainly made up for that in spades here tonight. Not that we needed any credibility for jumpy trucks, because they normally will speak for themselves, but certainly a big home run here tonight at Sonoma. And the floor is yours to close the broadcast here tonight as many times a winner here on the channel, but for the first time with the ASRL Sports Car Championship. Congrats, and let's hear it.
Yes, sir. I got to thank everyone at Team Watson Racing Setups. Use code WATSPIN39 for 10% off at checkout. Got to thank everyone here at Turn 200, the National Racing Network. It was AS Designs and Dizzy V Designs for putting together my paint schemes, although this one in particular was done by JJ himself. Gotta thank Icon Sim Racing Apparel, Boomer Button Boxes. Gotta shout out the Sim Gaming Expo.
Hey.
It's a huge gaming convention dedicated to simulation gaming of all types, sim racing, flight sims, and things of that nature. Your boy is director of competition for all the sim racing portion of it. So come check us out first weekend of September over in Chi-Town, September 5th through 7th. Check us out at the simgamingexpo.com. And thanks for my folks watching at home. This is the first time they've really heard me broadcast, so they got to see the nonsense that is the stuff that comes out of my mouth on a regular basis when we're calling the action. So it's pretty cool.
Well, thanks for doing this, and thanks for winning too. And now you've got an extra week to sit on it, because we're off next week for Memorial Day, and that will bring us another week of competition here. We'll run down the full calendar of things to come here on Turn 200. Of course, tomorrow night it is the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. And that will be live from Lime Rock Park Classic. And it is sure to be somewhere between chaotic and a classic. That's tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time for that one. Monday night, it is the Ghost Squadron Formula Super Series back in action. And they're at Road Atlanta. There we go. I remembered it. So Road Atlanta next Monday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time for that one. Tuesday night, the Venom Truck Series will roll into Bristol. It's one of the marquee Venom Truck Series races on the season. Jar of Honey is on the line. The None of Your Beeswax 200 from the Last Great Coliseum at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. No ASRL next week, but in 2 weeks' time, it'll be the Turn 200 sponsored race from Summit Point. And very excited to, if you thought this was a little bit constrained here this week, get ready for Summit Point, and you got an extra week to do just that. So thanks to everybody that was hanging out with us here tonight. Of course, the Motocek gang as always, Bailey Marie, Robin, and Joshua also in the chat there between races as well. Shout out to Don Golan. Been a while since we heard from Don. Appreciate you hanging out with us all night. Joshua Rutherford hanging out with us. Dave Seeds hopping in here a little bit too early there in the final race of the night as well. And Roy cheering on Damien Dana as well. So thanks to anybody that was hanging out with us here tonight, whether you were chatting or not. Greatly appreciated. Hope to see you back here in a couple weeks' time. Thank you to everybody that helps pay the bills here with the American Sim Racing League. Thanks to Team Watson Racing Setups. Thank you to Eminent Signs and Graphics. And, of course, thanks to your title sponsor for season number 6, Purple Haze Autosport. That is all we got for you here tonight on behalf of the admin team here with the ASRL. And on behalf of Mr. James Watson, your race winner here tonight for the Silver Division in the feature, I'm Tommy Cook, saying until we meet again, so long from Sears Point, where your winners are Damian Dana, Scott Kimbrough, Matthew Johnston, and James Watson. Have a good night, everybody. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.